Hey family, it's Tasha MAMABEAR Prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel where we just talk about emergency preparedness. We talk about what's going on in this crazy world and how you can prepare for it. Really, we just talk about what Me and Minds does, and hopefully that helps you with you and your plans and the things that you want to prepare for. So let's get into it. Still on travel, last day. We're about to head home today. Super excited about that. Just looking through normal news feed, regular videos, just seeing what people are discussing, talking about, whatever. And I tell you, it can be very, very daunting looking at stuff and seeing just in general the different things that are happening around the world and around our country, and every single day, just the things that are happening. And the problem with this is that it's not going to get any better, right? It's going to get worse. And there's certain areas that I take very serious because I believe that those areas are going to get worse and become very, very bad for us and hard to just survive in. And I'm just going to go through them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things or areas that I think that you absolutely, it's kind of like what to expect, what I expect, and absolutely 100% am preparing for the best that I can. Okay. So first down is economic downturn. 100% believe that is going to continue to go downwards. That's not going up. That's not going in a good direction, we'll say. And so that makes me think about, our assets, cash levels, gold, silver, whatever it is, what other assets, preparedness assets as well, right? Water, food levels, medicine levels, all of that stuff really, really matters. It matters that, we're trying to buy a house, and what does that look like? What does that mean for us? How does that shake out? Selling a house, how does that shake out? Any kind of investments you're doing, different things you're doing, life insurance. So all these financial things that are just normal life things have to get looked at in a different light. They have to get looked at in a economic collapse, an economic downturn, a Great Depression, moving towards not so good financial days, banking issues, banking concerns, ATMs. I mean, you name it. Every single day you turn on something, there's all types of stuff happening around us, and how this could affect us and how you would bounce back or just survive in it every day should certain things collapse. Okay. So that is one thing that we are in the realm of that area, financial, preparing for it to get worse. Okay. Next thing is violence crime. That's a no-brainer. That's being slowly upticking, getting worse and worse and worse and worse. All these stories, I'm almost just sick to death of it. But it's super important. So for us, preparedness has always been kind of on the forefront, but security has been close behind. Basically, if you cannot protect your items, protect your family, defend what you have, defend it from being taken from you to, other people taking it from you, what's the point of having it, right? You have to be able to protect it. You have to be able to keep it. And security matters. Being able to see outside, lights matter, locks matter, batten down the hatches, all that stuff. There's security levels. They matter. Your ability to be able to defend yourself, that matters. Your defensive tools, your non-lethal, your lethal, all of that stuff, right? And stockpiling the things that you need in order to continue to have that, use it, all of that stuff. Super, super important. I don't think violence and crime is going away anytime soon. And it's going to get worse. And then you're going to, of course, see policies and government try to change policies and mold things to go in their direction, going off of the supposed, this crime levels and what they believe would be the way to fix it. But it's going to get worse. And so you really have to take a look at it as a family and how it could affect you, how it could come to your doorstep, how you could protect yourselves, make yourselves a harder target, right? And not soft targets. And this expands past your home. This expands to your car when you're out and about, when you're at restaurants, when you're at different locations, right? Kids at schools, kids at daycares, whatever, right? Church, wherever. Head on a swivel at all times. But this is going to get worse. So you have to prepare. Another area we prepare, and just, I guess this isn't really an area we prepare for, but it's an area that we make sure that we are staying clear of. And that's the homelessness and drug situation. That is going, I believe you're going to see that get worse and worse, because this makes sense with the economic downturn and the way things are going, and people don't have jobs, and they, losing their homes and don't have nowhere to live. And you have people who are living in cars, you have people who are living in tents, encampments, you have people that are turning to drugs because they feel like they have no other options. You have the drugs being fed in, so it's obviously just not helping at all with a lot of people and their addictions, and there's no real true programs. I mean, there's programs out there to help, but the problem is so big, we need to tackle it in a much bigger light than we are currently. We really, as a country, don't really care about the current drug situation, and that's the problem. If we as a country don't embrace it and try to figure out how to fix it, it's just going to explode and get worse and worse. And of course, it's in these cities, and any town that doesn't fight back is going to get, overrun, and you're going to see more and more encampments and drugs and things like that move into your area. Next thing I have is weather. Now, this is a huge one on the list. This is just as big as food, water, meds. I mean, weather and weatherizing your home. I mean, we're already in really hot temperatures in summer, but you should already be thinking about winter. You should be thinking about weatherizing your home. What pipes can you get wrapped? Any kind of projects that still needed to be done. Anything you were still putting off. Filters being changed. Snow load fixes for your roof. Maybe it's just having all the snow stuff to remove snow, right? Salt, shovels, things like that. Maybe it's addressing any kind of flooding issues, your gutters, cleaning them. Where's that offload going? Do you need to be doing trenches away from the home? Do you need to be grading away from the home? Do you need to start doing anything to mitigate that? And with that, as things happen, there's all types of flooding happening, snap, just real quick, flash flooding in places that don't normally get it. So it's really important that we don't just say, oh, well, that never happens here, I'm not going to worry about it. You really have to start, weather is changing so much that you really have to look at your home and your area and say, okay, I know that this has never happened here, but what would happen today if there was a flash flood? What would we do, right? What have we done for our home to mitigate water entering the home, to mitigate water and, directing the water to go a different way so that if there was flash flooding or heavy rain, that you have something in place that would direct it somewhere else. What can you do? What things have you bought? What can you implement? Weather's a big deal. And that's just, flooding in winter. It's just one example, but there's all types of other things. And there's other things that pop off because of weather. Maybe it's super hot and dry, like right now. There's fires popping off. Again, people, fires don't really happen here. And then you don't do the things you need to do to make your home as safe as possible. You have to have your fire breaks. You have to have things picked up. You cannot have it cluttered and have all types of stuff there. Certain plants that are basically, fire hazards, that if they go up, they're just going to go up quickly and they're just going to continue the fire, right? So thinking about and looking at your home and figuring out how you're going to weatherize it for different things and different things that weather could affect that could cause other situations, right? Fireproofing your house, if you're right now getting into redoing a roof or redoing siding or whatever, and maybe it's from a decor standpoint or it's just run down and you need to redo it, but think about it from other aspects. Think about it from a fire hazard aspect, and maybe thinking about you're getting the materials that make stuff a little bit less quick to just go up in smokes, right? Think about those things when you're, when we spend our money these days. A lot of thought process has to go into what things could benefit us for different things moving forward in the future. Okay. The last thing I think I have is inflation. Now, this isn't inflation with food. Yes, of course, you're still gonna have to deal with inflation with food and eating out, things like that. But I'm not really talking about that. I'm just talking about inflation with everything, with services that you're paying for shipping and fees and extra things that companies are putting in because they need that overhead money. They need more money. They're not making enough money. They're trying to stay afloat, right? Any kind of service, any kind of project service where you're somebody coming to fix something in your home, anything, a beauty service, it doesn't matter, but services where you're paying somebody to do something for you, to fix something for you, that is going through the roof, right? Inflation is just going to, I think you're going to see ebbs and flows with the gas. I think you're going to see ebbs and flows with the food. But I think services, projects, stuff for projects, so materials, equipment, tools that you need to make something. See, when you have inflation, you have people who turn to, I'm going to do it myself. People turn to do it yourself because things are so expensive. However, you're ending up still spending the money because the tools cost went up, the equipment cost went up, the equipment, materials for the project, whatever it is that you needed, the pieces, all of that has gone up through the roof as well. I mean, if you've been to a Home Depot in the last 3 years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's expensive. If you've done any kind of renovation in your home for any reason, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, we just got a septic done last year, and we probably paid double what people paid 2 years before that, right? Just insanity, right? And so it's stuff costs, and so inflation, but possibly not in the ways that you think. People just hear inflation and they're like, yeah, I had to pay this much for a loaf of bread. And although food is a big issue with inflation, it's not the inflation that I'm talking about. I'm talking about these other things. You go to Amazon or you order from a website and you're not even thinking about it. You're just, okay, shipping, yep, hit the button. You're not thinking about it, but you're paying more in shipping and not even realizing it, because they have to cover those costs. They have to cover the cost of traveling and moving it, and the gas and all the trucks and all the stuff that it takes to move a product, right, to ship a product. And so it's a lot, right? And that stuff is not going away. So as a whole, this video, you know, everything is going to get worse. It's going to be worse, and you really have to get ready and buckle down and just try to get ahead of the things that you can get ahead of. Try to stockpile the things that you can stockpile before you can't get them. And just try to, but these areas are areas that we think about often. Security, we think about often. You know, the weatherizing, we think about often. I mean, we talk about weatherizing probably once a week. I mean, we're constantly in life. There's always something to do, okay? And so it's important to be thinking about these things all the time, and how do they affect your life, and think outside the box and think, okay, maybe this said weather event has never happened here, but if it did, how are we prepared? Are we prepared in any way? And I'm not saying spend thousands of dollars on trying to fix a problem that's never happened in your area. I'm just saying think it through and understand that stuff can happen, okay? So anyway, I hope you guys are well, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Wish us luck on our travels, say a little prayer, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.